Celtic made it 2 wins from 2 on Sunday, as they beat Aberdeen at Petrov 3-1. The game in general was at times hard to watch, but the most important thing is that we got 3 points and a tricky away ground ticked off the list. In today's video we will discuss what we learned from the clash, whilst also discussing what Celtic must sort out now. Not only that, but we'll also go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Celtic content. Celtic fans' hopes of seeing Dominik Livkovic sign for the club is all but over. The Croatian goalkeeper, whose contract runs out next year with Dinamo Zagreb, was previously rumoured to be on Celtic's radar. Despite his impressive credentials and an affordable asking price of £8 million, the Scottish champions did not lodge an official bid for the 28-year-old. Now Livkovic appears to be finalised his much anticipated move to Fenerbahce. The Turkish football powerhouse has pursued him determinedly throughout the off-season and is believed to have sealed a deal last month. Turkish media outlet Aksam are now buzzing with talks of Livkovic finalising his move to the Super League. The player could be unveiled by the end of the week. We have been told Brendan Rodgers might consider bringing in a new goalkeeper only if there's a departure among his current trio of Joe Hart, Scott Bain and Benjamin Sigrist before the transfer window closes on September the 1st. We've been told Benjamin Sigrist is the most likely to move on. Gustaf Lagerbilt spoke on Sunday evening after playing what appears to be his final game for Elfsborg. The defender bowed out with a disappointing 1-0 defeat to Hammarby and was quizzed on where he goes from here. Speaking to Afton Black, the player admitted the deal hadn't been signed yet, but he was on the course to leave for Celtic this week. Maybe you don't want to say anything until something is signed, but it may very well be that way. I don't really have a clue about it. I have tried to focus on the match as much as possible. Then the reporter asked, "How has it been?" It has been a challenge for me, but it's fun to face Hammarby away in such an important game, so it's been pretty easy to focus on this game anyway. It will be a fun challenge to come to a big club in Europe and play in the Champions League and hopefully win titles. It is a very big club with a good Swedish connection with Henrik Larsson, Starfelt and Lustig, among many others. They play the Champions League every year and win titles. Celtic could be in need of more defensive reinforcements for next weekend if Cameron Carter-Vickers doesn't shake off a hamstring injury that meant he went off after 45 minutes at Petrov. Nowacki played alongside Stephen Welsh for the second 45 minutes during the 3-0 win at Aberdeen. Gustaf coming in gives Brennan more options. Carl Starfelt left Celtic last week and the club have wasted no time in replacing him, 1 Swede in and 1 Swede out. The transfer window is still open until the end of the month, and there could be more in the door before then. Celtic defeated Aberdeen by 3-1 on Sunday afternoon. Abada, Kyogo and Matt O'Reilly all got on the score sheet in a vital victory at a tough away venue. Yesterday's performance perhaps wasn't the greatest from the champions, although in the end they got the win, and along with 3 points, here are 3 things we learned from the match. Defensive vulnerabilities lie. The boys weren't watertight at the back yesterday afternoon. Aberdeen got in behind on a number of occasions, and it's fair to say Cameron Carter-Vickers was at fault for the Dons' first half equaliser. Going forward, Celtic will need to be more solidified defensively, particularly if they are to compete on a European stage. David Turnbull doesn't take his chance. Following a brace against Ross County last week, David Turnbull got the nod yesterday afternoon. In midfield, the Scotland international misplayed several passes and had a few shots way off target. Brendan Rodgers showed faith in the 24-year-old yesterday, but after a poor display, Turnbull was hooked at half-time for Hatate, whose presence made a difference. Yang catches the eye. In his short 20-minute cameo, Yang Hoyeon-jun captured the imagination. The South Korean has impressed in all of his hoops appearances so far, and yesterday was no different. Going into the closing stages, it was he who put it on a plate for Matt O'Reilly with a wonderful assist what disclosed his elite trickery. Next Sunday's League Cup clash against Kilmarnock could be the ideal opportunity for the 2022 K-League Young Player of the Year to get his maiden start for his new club. It is certain that there is a lot more room for improvement for Celtic. The boys have secured 6 points from a possible 6 so far in the league this season, and although that is critical, Rodgers has a number of key points for development going forward. Celtic's hard-fought win over Aberdeen came at a cost to Brendan Rodgers. Injuries to Cameron Carter-Vickers and Hatate will be a cause for concern for Celtic boss as the fixtures come thick and fast. After losing Carl Starfelt to Celta Vigo last week, Celtic are now on a hunt to add another central defender to their ranks. Gustaf Lagerbilt appears to be that man, but former Celtic hero Stan Petrov reckons that adding just 1 defender will not be enough. Petrov said to Sky Sports, "As Brendan Rodgers mentioned, they are looking in every area. I'm not surprised. A club as big as Celtic, you have to be proactive at all times. You have to look to strengthen the squad, but what we saw today, that centre-back is a must. I hope Carter Vickers won't be out for long, because you've seen with the big games coming up, we obviously can't afford to lose him. And something that I mentioned earlier about needing not one but two central defenders, you need another one who must be a starter, must be beside Carter Vickers, and you also need a backup because it's a long season." Celtic now face the possibility of going into an important part of the season without Cameron Carter-Vickers. Although there is no great detail known about his injury, we all know a hamstring issue is never a good one. Up next for Brendan Rodgers' men is the defence of the League Cup against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park on Sunday. 6 days later we have St Johnstone at home before the first Glasgow derby of the season at Ibrox on the 3rd of September. Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers has no ongoing concerns regarding Alexandre Bernabei, but did confirm that he was omitted from the squad last week after the player missed a pre-match meeting. Reports surfaced through the week about the Argentine being disciplined for the no-show, sparking worries that Bernabei may be a problem player heading deeper into the season. High-profile pundit Chris Sutton, for example, was left fuming with the news, describing it as unacceptable. However, Rodgers has talked up to the Argentine's contributions in pre-season and reckons everyone can draw a line under the incident. The Celtic manager said, "His alarm is working now. He has been brilliant in pre-season in terms of mentality and attitude, and I felt for him. The very morning of the first game of the season, whatever happened, the alarm did not go off. I don't have time to wait. If you start late in the game and you're not quite ready, then the game could be dead. It's gone. We draw a line under it. He's a good guy. His professionalism is fantastic and there is no worry. We all make mistakes, but you learn from them and you'll be better for it." Bernabei was named on the bench for Sunday's win against Aberdeen, so he is at least again involved with the squad. However, he did not feature as a substitute and is still waiting his first competitive appearance this term. Celtic fans, what do you make of yesterday's performance and how many more additions do we need before the end of the transfer window? Let me know down in the comments section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts with our Brendan Rodgers Pope t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celticapparel.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you, take care, bye bye.